Hey there, welcome to another how to grime video, and the main topic of this video is how to write an intro and a bridge for grime and drill songs. Okay, so by the end of this video you should know what intros and bridges are, where to best put your intros and your bridges, and how to use intros and bridges. So let's start with intros, but before we go on, there's two main points that I want you to keep in mind as this video continues. Point number one, simplicity. Point number two, theme. Not in any order, just theme and keep it simple. So with intros, starting with keeping it simple and starting with simplicity, with intros, it's not always about focusing on the dialogue or on the bars and what you're saying. You can use sound effects, you can use talking, you can use anything to create an intro, but just as long as you keep it simple and just as long as you keep the theme of the song in mind. If the intro introduces the song and introduces the topic and gets the listener within the theme, then it's a good intro. Think about 50 Cent's Many Men intro, right? That song Many Men, 50 Cent. Think about the intro for that. Uses gunshots, uses shouting, talking, screaming, and that gets you into a certain mood, you know. For this song, it introduces the theme real good and it captures you, it grips the listener. I think keep it simple, right? And don't worry about what you're going to use for your intro. You can use anything. And just to drive this point home, I'm going to play you a quick example of an intro that I did for a certain song. It's only 10 to 15 seconds long, just so you understand more on this point.
Yeah. I just wanna sit with a hit split for now. Yeah. And it's like this.
Okay, from that intro you can glean what the song's about already, right? I played you that intro and already, you know, it starts to tell you what the song's about. And that brings you to another point about intros. Use intros to fill the gap instead of just doing the classic rookie beginner move of letting the instrumental play on and at the beginning and then you jump in with your first 16 or your first hook. No, put an intro there, fill that gap. That gap, you know, is time to capture the listener's attention, so fill that gap, put an intro there, right? And keep that intro simple, keep it repetitive, keep the theme in mind when you write that intro. Think about what you're putting in that intro. Okay, on to the second part of the video, and that is the bridge. Let's talk about the bridge. So what do we need to know about the bridge? Well, first of all, we need to know what the bridge is and what it can be used for. Well, the bridge can be best used, obviously, to bridge the gap between verse and hook or hook and verse, right? And a simple but repetitive and catchy phrase can accomplish this. It can work as your bridge. Start easy. Always look for a part on the instrumental where it's different. You know, where how you put the hook on the part on the instrumental that's clearly different from the parts where you put the verses. The bridge is the same. So if you hear a part on the instrumental that's different, or let's say you've done an 8-bar hook and you don't want to do another 8-bar hook and make it 16 bars for the hook, instead of doing another 8-bar hook, you can put a bridge there, right? And you can put the bridge in that part of the instrumental that's different, right? And another way to use a bridge is, let's say you just spat your hook, you spat your first verse and you're about to spit the second verse. You can bridge your way into that second verse, right? So when you're doing that, if you don't know, or you're like, oh crap, I don't know what to put on my bridge, man, you can always implement the first lines of your second verse into your bridge. So to give you a quick example of what I mean here, I'm gonna play you another example of another track I did using a bridge. So let's go with it.
Living in illusion with no explanation, confusion's polluting the nation. Living in illusion with no explanation, confusion's polluting the nation. Yo, I'm living in illusion with no explanation, confusion's polluting the nation. Said I'm living in illusion with no explanation, confusion's polluting the nation. Living in illusion, this confusion is polluting my brains. The chains that bind me are psychological.
Okay, from that bridge you can hear exactly what I'm saying. The bridge was repetitive, it was simple, but it was a good enough bridge to fill that gap and keep the listener listening, right? Thinking. And you can hear from the bridge that the first 2 bars of my second verse, where living in illusion, this confusion is polluting my brains, the chains that bind me are psychological, and my bridge happened to be living in illusion with no explanation, confusion's polluting the nation. Okay, I used some of the words in my first 2 bars, in my first line or my second verse in the bridge, and just repeated it, and it made a pretty decent bridge. So that reminds me of a different point I was gonna say. Don't force your bars, right, and your words into your intros, into your bridges, right? Once you keep simplicity in mind, keep the theme in mind, the topic of your song, and get into the music, the bars and the words for your bridge and your intro will come. If you think about your song like a fully prepared dish, and you're about to add little bits of seasoning, salt, ketchup sauce on top of it, and your seasoning, your sauce is your intros and your bridges. They're the little bits that fill the little gaps that are left in your songs. That's, in my opinion, the best ways to use intros and bridges, right? We've come to the end of the video, relatively short video, but hopefully, you know, you've gleaned something from it. You've learned what an intro and a bridge is. An intro, obviously an introduction to your song, that captures the listener, that gets the theme already in the listener's mind, gets them to knowing what this song is about from the get-go, so that they don't have to wait for the first verse. And the bridge, a way to bridge the gap, a way to keep your listener entertained, keep them thinking. It's like a second hook, second way to captivate and keep your listener, you know, hooked to the song. It's like it's catchy thing. It's nice and simple, nice and repetitive. And you've also learned how to best use bridges and intros. Instead of making the rookie beginner mistake of leaving the gaps at the intro and gaps at certain parts of the song, you put bridges there, and you put an introduction to your song there. And I hope all the information that you learned in this video helped you out. And if it did, then share it to someone else who you think it will help out. Like the video. And before I go, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone that's subscribed. Big thank you to you, you help the channel out. And if you're subscribed, then hit that bell notification, because it helps the YouTube algorithm out, and you're helping the channel out. So and it also helps you get notified when I release a new video. So thank you for being subscribed, thank you for watching the video and staying to the end if you're still here. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, peace.
This life squeezy, there's so many chapters, so many memories that I've captured over the years. Back in the day I had so many fears, but now my future's bright, it's right inside and it's overly clear. Used to believe in the Bible, but with that shit I didn't go anywhere, so I left it there. It began to look at the world from a bird's eye view. Now it's amazing, I'm on a quest to awaken my third eye too. Used to listen to tours like you, but nowadays wanna listen to instinct. Not gonna stop till I'm leaving an imprint on this game, no longer the same. Gotta welcome change, it's a part of life.